to classify and categorize the jobs of our industry. The most common way that we classify it is by what we call sectors, and that is principally because in the history of our industry as it grown, there were specific sectors that formed their own organizations, and I'm just describing it in this way because it's not the only way to categorize, but it's probably the easiest way. So to answer your question simply, we have the contact center sector, and that is approximately 60% of the 1.7 million employees. And then I would say that among the faster growing sectors are the healthcare sector. They have their own association called the Healthcare Information Management Association. We also have the GCCs, which stands for Global Capability Centers. They have their own association. That is about 240,000 employees. Healthcare is just under 200. Okay, those are the biggest ones. There is also the Software Association of the Philippines. Somewhat, that's everything IT is under that. Similar in size to healthcare, so just under 200. And then the other remaining ones are the...
Hi, Bob Reyes here from Manila Bulletin Tech News. Since we are already in the topic of regulation and there's a mention of government, what is ibpap's stand on calls for AI or the use of AI to be regulated? And yeah, are you in favor of having AI regulated in the country?
I'm gonna give this one to Doc.
I'm sure you guys saw the news 24 hours ago sa India. The Indian government tightened, pero not on all AI providers, just the big ones. Yung chismis doon, I think Gemini said the Prime Minister of India is fascist. So, but pinag-uusapan namin internally, that's an excellent opportunity for the Philippines. Sige, mag-tighten sa India, bring it here. So, the broad topic of regulation, there's two sides to it. We need to cover the risks. I'm sure as media, you have the problems of deepfakes, fake news. That has to be regulated. Unfortunately, data privacy and cybercrime conveniently don't mention artificial intelligence. So fixing that is one half. The other parts, like Congressman Atayde has a pending bill on jobs and AI. That's a little bit more worrisome because it's like a blanket parang ban. You can't use AI for HR or something like that. Or you can't necessarily replace people with automation. But that's already being done anyway. So that's the other half about you have to cover the risks, but you also don't want to curtail the innovation. And that's also another gap. I'm sure pag-usapan natin to sa communities, Bob. There's no incentives. Diba? What created the BPO industry was incentives. Tax breaks, lifting of the foreign ownership limit, boom, suddenly you have a middle class. So parang there's a little bit of gap in that front. Now, if you want to do AI, you can't get funding. No, there's no. One of our members was complaining. The Bureau of Customs and BIR will even give you a hard time importing GPUs and data center equipment. So parang it doesn't make sense. Now, to be fair, I don't think it's a deliberate thing. Parang the system is just naturally inefficient. But that's something ibpap wants to fix. So that's also on our agenda. How do we improve regulation? We're supportive of risk management regulation, incentives. We're worried yung mga blanket ban, yung mga ganyan. We have to be careful about that. And we feel that, I don't know if the India thing will stick, feel ko babawiin din nila yan. But since that's the signal, number two, Philippines can come in and swoop in and bring in the AI jobs. Sana. But hopefully that gives a holistic picture.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Doc, and thank you so much, Bob. Andrea has the microphone next.
Hi, I'm Andrea Sanwan from Business Mirror. I'm just curious on your take. Are you for or against the amendment of economic provisions in the Constitution?
Were there specific,
Uh,
can you name some of these specific
for
ones?
the liberalization of the economy, like
Foreign ownership.
yeah.
Yeah, try.
For-
Yeah.
Actually, we're ahead of that na. Under PEZA, we don't have that limit. We were ahead. Now, if the conversation were a little less political, they should use the BPO sector as the use case. We were ahead of that as early as the 1990s. That was part of the incentives. Suddenly, you have this, new middle class. On that life hack alone, yung PEZA zone can become a building. Dati, lupa lang yan, and then the foreign ownership limit was released. Now, is it only just because of that na nagkaroon ng BPO? Hindi rin. There was also a really massive movement in the US to also shift jobs outside yung mga factory work first, kaya nagkaroon ng manufacturing offshoring din before, and then customer service. So in a way, it's not just because of regulation, but so in so many words, it's not too big of a deal for us. We are actually the use case. Sana lang they use that rather than making it more of a political debate. And balik tayo sa jobs. Actually, Jack forgot to mention this. Of the total pie of offshoreable jobs, only 30% combined India and Philippines na yun has been offshore. So may 70 plus or 60 plus % pa that could have been sent. Hindi kinakaya because of whatever, talent bottleneck, technology. So if we just focus on the industry, grow it, more jobs will come in. We grew faster than the Philippine economy. Talagang ito yung nagdadala. Philippine economy, 5-6% sabi ni Recto. We're growing at 8. Easy. But no one talks about it. So yun yung perspective, that's why the rebrand is important. Dito na yung engine eh. And a counterpoint to yung city LGU thing. NCR lang yun. If you go outside NCR, the cities are all over us. They want the most, if the faster they can process permits, the better. Problema naman obviously outside the NCR, the talent pool is smaller. So hopefully we can work with provincial schools, universities, to grow the talent. So medyo ano siya, work in progress. So we go where we're loved. Yun yung mission.
Thank you.
To the point of Doc that only 69 or 70% of work has been offshore, that really proves that it's hard to define what our industry is. Because if you think about it, IT BPM really represents all jobs. It's not just answering the phone anymore, resolving a simple query. It's everything. We have Filipinos doing care management in the healthcare sector. Companies like Optum and Carolon, they're providing care for US patients. It's gone beyond call center work. So we have to begin to reimagine the kinds of jobs that Filipinos are doing for global customers. And that's why we created the video in that way, to show the diversity and complexity of the jobs that people do. So technically, if you really think about it, everything can be offshored because now, through technology and remote work, we can do anything from anywhere. And so, we're no longer limited by the physical environment, if you think about it. If the internet is working properly, we can actually do everything from anywhere.
Yung pala, pandagdag kay Bob kanina. We just have to fix the internet.
Infrastructure.
So infrastructure regulation, sana. If we can fix that. Kasi direct input yan to BPOs. IT BPM nga pala.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Doc. We do have a question from Michika, but after Michika, I know that it's getting late, so we will have like room for just another question after that. But please go ahead, Michika.
Hi, Michika from NNA. I have two questions. I'm so sorry. You mentioned that the ibpap is an umbrella term, that there are a lot of categories under it. May I know the breakdown of the revenue and employees per category, and also how many jobs have been taken away from AI in 2023?
Okay, those are good questions. Yes, you're correct, Michika. Our industry has diverse